go to shutter, select on, and then that way, what you can do is as you're shooting, you take that little snapshot. You have to wait a few minutes for it to set up so you can do it again. You know, otherwise it won't do it. You know, it'll go to pause and then it'll let you do it again. Well, most people want to be able to do. They want to do more. They want to just keep pushing this button. So go click, 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 but it's only going to do it once. And then it runs through. It goes to pause, and it sets up for the next time when you want to do it again.
What's the purpose of doing that?
Again, if you're making like a video and you want to create the illusion that you know how you see like in a movie and somebody like is taking a snapshot, you know.
Gotcha.
Well, if they're holding a camera, they're holding a handheld camera like a steel camera, then you can actually be taking the picture and not them. You know, you're shooting over their shoulder, and then when they do the motion like that, your camera takes the shot, not their camera, but it just creates the illusion that you're seeing through the eyes of the person who actually shooting handheld camera. Or if you're trying to make a scene in a movie and you're doing the opening sequence, and you want to isolate each one of the talent or each one of the performers, you can do the shutter thing. You take a snapshot of that, and then when you go to like editing, you can actually put their name there, you know, and you take another snapshot, put their name there.
It's like a secret agent.
Yeah. It depends on. In other words, you have to decide what you're doing is how you're going to actually like do it. The reasoning behind the function. Because the functions, I'll admit, they're kind of cheesy. They're kind of cheesy. But this camera, believe it or not, at least it has functions. The DVX Pro, and I'll bring that camera in. I'll bring that in next week, and we'll talk about that one. That one has a sleeker look. It looks more modern. You know, I mean, it's not a big case that you have to carry around. It's like a cool little case that has a has a shoulder strap and everything. You know, you kind of look like a camera person with it. You know, when you take it out, it has like has a big lens on it, and you're like, yeah, that guy right there. You know, but it doesn't have a whole lot of functions though. It actually it's a camera that's by design is just for it serves the same purpose as this camera to actually like record footage, but basically it's set up so that you can alternate from 30 frames a second to 24 frames. It actually can allow you to actually switch it, and it'll shoot. The video camera will shoot 24 frames, you know, like a movie camera. And a lot of animation people like using that when they're doing compositing because it just works out better. Works out better for them, you know, especially if they want to composite like a live action, a real person with a cartoon standing next to them, and somehow they want when they go to Premiere, they want it to look like it's not. They're going to lose a whole lot of frames, so they actually shoot it at 24. They'll shoot it at 24 just because they know that that's not going to drop the frames out. You know, the video will be the same frame count as the animation that they shot. Especially if they're doing 2D animation. And they know they're pulling their stuff. Like I've seen it, two people did it, where they had a cartoon. This one guy, Alfonso, had a cartoon come out of. He's sitting down. As he got up, the cartoon came out of his pocket. You know, the little character came out of his pocket, and he walked up his shoulder and stuff. He's standing there. You know, they're talking to each other. You know, it's kind of cool. You know, the thing when it turned into a 3D character, that was really nice. That was very nice. But he didn't need the 24 frames. But he wanted to keep it all in 24 frames. Is what he wanted. Because he wanted to use After Effects to actually manipulate it, and he wanted it to stay in 24 frames. Is what he wanted to do. You know, he said it was easier. He said that the 30 frame count was, even though it's sort of easy, he said, but sometimes because what I shot in 2D. I get lost on the numbers. It becomes a mathematical thing. I'm losing numbers, you know, because there's like 6 frames that I can't account for, you know, and I'm losing the numbers, and I'm like, and it becomes hard, you know, and then it's easier if they're all the same frame count, then it's easy, you know. But anyway, I'll show you. I'll show you guys next week the difference between the two cameras.